Hello friends, very good day. So today we'll be learning that further session for macro based automation. In this particular session, we will be learning about one of the most important part of macro automation. Our objective of this task today that we have a certain set of data, and the same data we are going to copy to a new worksheet or new workbook altogether. And we'll learn how to do that, and not only that, in that we will learn few more important updates regarding macro-based automation. Now, as per our previous video, you already have seen that how to enable developer tab on your Excel workbook. Now let's proceed. First of all, you'll be clicking on your Visual Basic tab to get the screen open. Post that, if you click on the Excel button, again you can go back to your Excel screen. Clicking on Visual Basic tab, it will get you the Visual Basic tab. Now in this Visual Basic tab, to get it you introduced, if you press Ctrl R, you will have that project panel. If you press F4, you can have the properties panel, or else you can directly from view menu, you can have that project explorer and properties window. Here, by pressing Ctrl G, you can have that immediate window. During project time, if it is closed also, anytime by pressing the shortcut keys, you can easily get that. And while you are developing that code, if you want to have that data and editor window side by side, you press Ctrl right arrow key. Control right arrow, you can have that window right to that. So what is the objective for this particular task? We have a certain set of data, and the same data we will be copying to a new worksheet. I already have done that. Let me do that once again for you. First, to start with, once you open that macro tab, you'll be right clicking on your workbook, click on insert and create a new module. Once the module comes, if you don't need these things, you can close them. Anytime if you require, you press Ctrl R, again it will come. Now first of all, we'll be creating one sub-procedure by typing sub, then the name of your module. For example, giving meaningful name, we want to copy the data to a new workbook. We'll be using the name like copy data. Enter. Once you press enter, the module sub-procedure is created. Try to use the name in toggle case, the first letter capital and the rest small and rest all in capital. First, to write any comment, you use one single quote and write your comment. Copy data from one workbook to another. Next, define variables. First, we are going to define variables. You take few variables. To define a variable, you should use div and the variable name. First, we will be defining one workbook variable like this. That will be this as. Now you see one list is appearing. This list is called that macro intelligence. It gives you the list of probable names what you can select. I want to select workbook. I typed work rest all. If you press tab, it will be selected. Dim sh data as worksheet. Now always remember, you will be defining workbook and the worksheet. For each worksheet in this workbook, you need to define a different worksheet if you require. as per your requirement. Then we'll be defining one destination workbook, like dest workbook. Now to define the range, we need that row and column as dim, row as double. Now for each different variable type, we need to define that particular variable type. We'll create a separate video for different variable types, but as of now, workbook type worksheet. To define worksheet, it's a worksheet type variable. For L row, it's going to be a number digit. Now it's going to be a big number, so I'm defining as a double. You know that we'll come that later, that integer, double, long. For each type of different data type, you need to create different variable. Double. Now let's declare variable. First, while declaring, you will be writing set and variable name. Now here you see, notice that I just typed these 3 characters. Now if I press Control space, the rest all will come. Workbook. Now for SH data, it's a workbook within this worksheet within this workbook. Here you can define by index. In this particular workbook, this policy data is in that first workbook. I can define as first sheet, or else to be more specific, better you define by a worksheet name. To be more genuine, it is advised always double click on that worksheet name and paste the name here, so there will not be any mistake. Next, create that new workbook. Workbooks.add set WP test as workbook. Now here, one of the most important part of macro based automation, that the difference between this workbook and active workbook. Now see, we are working in this particular workbook, so this is this workbook. Now the workbook will be creating, that will be the active workbook. So this is the difference. The macro is in this workbook, and the workbook will be working that time will be the active workbook. It's a very important question for a developer position interview. Just keep that in mind. Next, process data. What I'm doing, I'm creating a code block with sh data. Each time you are creating with, you should finish it as end with. Within that block, I'll be creating 2 variables, L row. Here, formula is something, cells. Inside cells, you have 2 components, row and column. I want to evaluate how many total number of rows. I'll be writing rows dot count, comma, which column up to Excel up, because I want that from the last row of this worksheet, you go up and check the last filled in data. If you give Excel down, it will go to the very last row of this workbook or worksheet. Similarly, for L column, we'll be using same cells dot first row reference 1, then dot columns dot count, end. excel to left dot. Here, if you're not using excel to left, you can use excel to right, but if you use excel to right, it will go to the very last cell of this particular row to the right. So better we use excel to left. Then you come at the end. Now you process the data. How to do that? Dot range to select the range. In the range, you have two properties, cell 1, cell 2. I'll be using cell 1 as from row A1, that means column A row 1, that is 1 comma 1, row 1 column index, comma cell 2, last row last column. We already know the last row is the lastest row and the lastest column, so dot cells L row comma L you should give the same name dot. We have to paste the data in the destination workbook, so wb dest dot worksheets. We don't know which worksheet is there. We are taking it by index 1 dot range A1 dot paste special Excel. You have multiple options here. Either you can paste everything as paste all, to paste only data except borders, this option, conditional formats, column widths, comments, formats, formulas only, formula and number formats, etc. You can paste values, paste validation, values and number formats, etc. We'll be using this particular case Excel paste all. Finally, release the memory. Cut copy mode is equal to false. Post doing, we'll be saving that data. wb test dot save. You can put one comment, getting count. Now let's test this, what we have done. Before running the entire code, we can run in debug mode by pressing F8 button. Press F8 button for each line. For any error, it will throw you the error, or else it will go declared variable, creating workbook. Now see, there is only one worksheet available from 2016-13 onwards. Each time you create a new workbook, it will have only one worksheet. I'm taking last row column count. After taking the count, if you put your mouse there, you can view the actual value. Copy the data, paste data, clear the memory, save the data. Done. Now see, this is your new workbook where the data got saved, and this is my existing workbook. Thank you very much, guys. Keep following me. Do subscribe to the channel. You'll be getting many more such new videos to be expert in VBA Macro. Thank you. Thank you very much.